Hello everyone, I'm Miss Christine from the Hollowbrook Branch, and I would like to welcome you to this session of our middle grade book club. For our last few sessions, we were using creativity prompts from this book, The Creativity Project. We had a lot of fun with this book, and if you haven't had a chance to check it out yet, I suggest you do so. But we are going to change direction a little bit for our next few sessions. Today we're going to talk about one particular author, one of my favorite authors, Shel Silverstein. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. I'll read you a few of his poems, and then you can read some of his work on your own, and I'm going to suggest some activities that you can do. Then you can join me on September 24th at 3 p.m. for a live meeting where we can share what we think about what we've read and any activities you might have done. Shel Silverstein is a very well-known author. He had a career that lasted about 40 years, and I am betting there's a good chance that you've read some of his works already. His book, Where the Sidewalk Ends, was my favorite growing up. My husband loved him as well, and we have a lot of his childhood copies of his books still in my house today. Shel was born in Chicago in 1930, and he passed away in 1999. In addition to writing poems and stories for kids, which he is most well known for, he also played guitar, and he was a songwriter. You may have heard of his songs A Boy Named Sue or Hello Mudda, Hello Fada. He also did cartoons for adults that were in magazines, and he was a playwright as well. His first book, Lafcadio the Lion Who Shot Back, was published in 1963. In 1964, he published what might be one of his most well-known works, The Giving Tree. This is a book that people either love or hate. Some find it sweet and others think that it's sad. And several of his works are like this. The Missing Piece comes to mind as well. They're not clearly happy or sad stories. And Shel was okay with this. He wanted people to make up their own minds, and he wanted them to find their own ways to identify with his books. Where the Sidewalk Ends was his first book of poetry. These were always my favorites. A few of his other books of poetry include Falling Up and A Light in the Attic, and he had some that were published after he passed away as well. Runny Babbitt and Everything on It were two of those titles. So I'm going to read you a few of his poems now, and I'll suggest some activities that you can do for our September 24th meeting. You can also get some ideas from shelsilverstein.com. That provides a ton of activity ideas to go with his writing. And if you'd like to join me for our live meeting on the 24th, please register on our website to get to the link to the meeting, and you can bring with you any thoughts that you have about Shel Silverstein, and if you've done any activities that you'd like to share, you can bring those as well. Here we go. So I'm going to read to you from Where the Sidewalk Ends, which was his first book of poetry, and I'm going to start with the very first poem in that book. It's called Invitation, and as a librarian I love this poem because it's kind of about the joy of sharing stories. This is the illustration. Shel Silverstein did the illustrations for his book as well, and they're really fun. So this is Invitation. If you are a dreamer, come in. If you are a dreamer, a wisher, a liar, a hoper, a prayer, a magic bean buyer. If you're a pretender, come sit by my fire, for we have some flax golden tales to spin. Come in, come in. And I think that's a great way to start a book. Okay, so next I am going to read you two poems, and we'll see if you see the theme between these two poems. The first is called Sick. This was always one of my favorites when I was a kid, and I'll just show you the illustration there. You can see the little girl hiding in her bed. So here is Sick. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox, and there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin, my belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched, my ankle's sprained, my appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play. So that is sick. And then the next one I'm going to read is called Who. There's no illustration with this one, so I'll just read the poem with you. Who. Who can kick a football from here out to Afghanistan? I can. Who fought tigers in the street while all the policemen ran and hid? I did. Who will fly and have x-ray eyes and be known as the man no bullet can kill? I will. Who can sit and tell lies all night? I might. So that's Who, and you can see the theme between both of those two poems is lying. There were a few lies in there. So one fun activity you can do is think of something fun to lie about. Make up a poem or story filled with crazy, wacky, out there lies and see what you can come up with. Okay, our next poem is coming from A Light in the Attic, and this poem is called Homework Machine. And here's a great illustration that goes with this one. Look closely at that machine. You can see there's a kid on the outside, and there's actually a kid on the inside doing the homework. So here's Homework Machine. The homework machine, oh the homework machine, the most perfect contraption that's ever been seen. Just put in your homework, then drop in a dime, snap on the switch, and in 10 seconds time, your homework comes out quick and clean as can be. Here it is, 9 plus 4, the answer is 3. 3? Oh me, I guess it's not as perfect as I thought it would be. So a fun activity to go with this poem is to think about what kind of machine you would like to make. If you could make a machine that could do anything for you, any of your chores, any of your jobs, would it be homework, would it be something else? You could just think of it and tell us, or you could write a poem about it. Okay, one more poem is coming from the book called Everything on It, and this poem is called Not an Egg. Here's the illustration that goes with that. So now I'll read you Not an Egg. With feathers blue and comb of red, with claws that scrape and scratch, the rhymy bird sits on my head and waits for it to hatch. It's not an egg, I cry, but she sits waiting for the day, when it will crack, and with a shout, a baby poem will tumble out, and shake its feathers all about, and flap and fly away. That is not an egg. Is that how poems get made? I don't know. We'll see. So my suggested activity for this one is to think of some sort of fantasy creature of your own. Make up a creature of any kind, and again, you can just tell us about it, or you can write a poem about it, and I'd love to hear what you come up with. Okay, I hope you enjoyed those poems and that they make you want to read some more and that you'll pick up some of his books. Feel free to read anything by him or about him, and you could do any of the activities that I just suggested for you, or like I said before, you could visit shelsilverstein.com to get more ideas of activities. We're not picky about what you do, and any way that these make you feel creative, you do it. Below this video, we should also have a link to some books on our website that you can get from the library, and I hope that I will see you on September 24th when we can share our ideas.